Nice to meet you, dear. Come on in.
Yes, indeed. Do you perform like that most of the time? Just you and the guitar?
Yeah, I do a lot.
Really? So you don't really like a band that much?
No, I do like a band, but I just have been playing a lot of writers' nights and stuff like that, so I'm just getting together with bands and trying to get that together now.
I see. It looks real comfortable for you up there.
Yeah, I can actually hear myself sing when I play like that, as opposed to with the band.
There you go. That's a good boy. So we're real curious about this life-changing meeting with Radney Foster in 1988. That's what he calls it. Did it change your life, too?
Oh, heck yeah. Yeah, it was pretty great. I was living up in Bellingham, Washington at the time, and I remember Bill Lloyd is a good friend of mine. He sent me a Foster and Lloyd record, and I used to play it in my house, and I would sing along with Radney. You know, the parts where there weren't any harmony, and I thought, wow, it'd be so cool if one time I could just like sing for fun with Radney.
But you had never met him?
No, I'd never met him, and so then they came through Seattle, and Bill called, and I went down and met them, and we were singing on the bus, and I got to sing with Rad. I can't even remember what song it was, but I just thought it was so great. And never would have thought that we would go on and write Nobody Wins together, and I get to sing on his record and all that stuff. It's cool.
Well, you mentioned you were in Washington at the time, and I understand you've lived all over the place. You've lived in Europe, you've been in South America, Boston, Washington State, eventually here in Nashville. Did you have various jobs at all these different places?
I did have a lot of jobs. I was temporarily in the food service industry during that time for about 12 years.
Which means?
Bartending, waiting tables, cooking, everything.
That sounds like me.
Yeah. When I
did
first came here, I just came from Washington, and I knew a lot about the restaurant business because I almost stayed behind and opened a restaurant with a friend instead of coming to Nashville. And I remember I was in the studio with Bill and Radney when they were doing their record. They're all talking music business stuff. I was like, well, does anybody want to talk about, like, food prep or anything like that? I couldn't get any takers.
I don't think so. But how does a person like yourself come into Nashville with all these great songwriters and feel confident and comfortable in saying, I write songs and look at my stuff?
You don't. I didn't at all. When I came in on all my W-2 forms, whenever I'm filling those out every year, I have been writing for Blue Water Music as a staff writer for almost 4 years now. And every year I would sign my W-2 bartender under my occupation until I got a check for Nobody Wins finally. And I thought, well, I guess I'm a songwriter now.
Officially.
Yeah.
You know, there's so many wonderful, talented artists in this town, songwriters, singers.
Oh, yeah.
Don't you feel maybe a little cramped in this town sometimes by the talent that's around you?
Oh, no, it's inspiring. It's really inspiring. It's why people go to, like, New York and stuff, you know, to act or to paint or whatever. You know, you want to go where all the creative energy is happening.
Oh, yeah. Well, you know, Robert Orman is a good friend of ours, and he's a nationally known critic and music expert. And I was reading a review of your music that he wrote, and he added in there that he had gone to see a concert of yours, and he described your personality as kooky.
Yeah.
Now, you don't seem real kooky to me right now. Are you, though?
Well, you're kind of putting me on the spot, like, to do something kooky.
No. I'm not asking you. No, he was something getting out for both of us. No. No, but when you're out and about, I was just curious as to what he meant by that.
A little wacky.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Well, in what sense?
Oh, gosh, I don't know. Just like to play around, you know.
Yeah, just a
joke.
Goofing around. Okay.
Yeah, just to take the pressure off.
Like the back of my record thing is kind of a joke where I thank people. Here, I'll show you.
Oh.
All right.
It's in the booklet, and I was writing this, and I didn't know they were going to devote
I have trouble getting those things out, too.
I know. Who designed those?
I don't know. It's hard to get the book out.
See, I was sitting on my porch writing my thank you things for the back, you know, where you list everybody that helped you, and I started out with, I said, I've got a lot of people to thank for this record, too many, actually, so I decided not to thank anyone, and use this space to tell you all a little bit about myself and what led me on this musical journey. Just joking. Everybody.
Okay, well,
so that's kind of kooky.
It is. That's a little off-center there. That's great. And in the meantime, you just finished a radio tour, so I guess everybody's getting to know you there. And what was America's Talking? You did that in New York?
Yeah.
Did that go well?
Well, afterwards it did. When I first started, it was the first TV show I had done, and it was live to tape, which means, you know, it's taped and then they'll show up, but there's no stopping.
No editing, no stopping.
No stopping. So it's time for me to get ready to go on. So I'm tuning my guitar, and the band's playing, so I can't tune by ear, so I'm using my little tuner and just watching the dots, and my battery was going out, so my battery's dead. So I tune up with all the dots, and I'm up there at the microphone, just ready to go. And the host guy says, next we have Kim Richey coming on to do a song from her record, yada, yada, and all this stuff. And the guy that he was talking to starts to get up and goes, oh, no, stay right where you are. We have a real treat for you. So they go, Kim Richey, and the cameras go on me, and I'm just up there, you know, ready to go. I'm on TV, and like hit the first chord, and it was so out of tune. It was
really sour.
Oh, not even sour. None of the strings were the right note. It was tragic. And I just stood up there. That's what I said. I said, oh, this is tragic. And everybody's just looking at me like their eyes all bugged out, and all the color, you know, is gone from their faces. And the host is just looking like this. And I talked to him later, and I said, man, I go, your face looked probably as bad as my face did when I hit that first chord. And he said, yeah, he goes, I thought, wow, we are so messed up. She cannot play.
But that's a true story.
Yeah, they had to stop it on. I just stood there because there was nothing I could do.
No,
it turned out okay.
It certainly did. Well, this album turned out great, too, right here, if I can ever get it back together. Self-titled. Here it is, Kim Richey, and she's back with more music later. We'll take a break. Be right back, y'all.